Hey, welcome back to Leaf Hunter Genealogy. Last video kind of ended a little abruptly, but we were in the middle of trying to merge Johann Gottlieb Küll and John Gottlieb Küll, the German Johann versus the American John. We were finishing up the research, trying to determine whether or not those two people were the same person. I think we successfully did that. We didn't quite get to the merge of those two individuals or those two profiles on Family Search, but we're going to do that in this video. However, before I do that, I want to put a couple more nails in that coffin by trying to find some of his sisters just to correlate both families on both sides of the pond. So we're going to get right into that here in just a second. All right, so here are the two profiles that we are trying to merge, that we attempted through research, trying to determine whether or not these two individuals are the same person. We did have some discrepancies. Probably the biggest one that that is apparent right now is the birth date. So on the left here we have Johann Gottlieb Küll, or Kull as it's written here. This is the German side, the German documents, the German family, and then on the right is the Americanized version, Gottlieb J. Küll, J standing for John on a lot of documents. So a couple of the key things that we found with these two individuals, starting with Johann Gottlieb Küll, or Kull. First is his birth record. So as we can see, this is Johann Gottlieb, son of Johann Friedrich Küll, and here it annotates that he went to America in 1846. So that is our first indicator that he did at least go to America, right? So then the next clue that we found, or connection, is this 1850 census of Berrien County, Michigan, and we have Friedrich Kull, or possibly Küll, depending on how you read that, but it was indexed as Kull. So Friedrich Kull, Mary Kull, Dorothy, Frederick, Jacob, Gottlieb, and Karoline, and we did the comparison on the last video, and these are very consistent to the German Küll family. So we've got that, and then if we go over to Gottlieb J. Küll here, and we go down to his death date, which was in 1908, and we go to the death certificate, and we'll look at the image here. This sent us to Ancestry. We've got John Gottlieb Küll and his parents, John Frederick Küll and Mary Hagley, which are Johann Gottlieb Küll's parents. So there is that. And then if we go back to the obituary, which is where we're going to start from today. Obituary: John Gottlieb Küll was born in Wittenberg, Germany, March 14th, 1838, which doesn't match either profile because this says 38, the one profile says 39. We have his birth record as 41, but we came down here to this sentence here. He came to America with his parents when but a child of 5 years old. At 5 years, he would have been... if he came in 1846, like the birth record said, he was 5 years old, being born in 1841. So we see that, and then with the census record, of 1850, we can see that what would be really nice is if we could find, or if one of his siblings was born after they came to America, but we haven't seen that yet. Anyway, so he was married to Sarah A. Humphrey, and he has a couple of sisters, Mrs. Charles Shearer of Benton Harbor and Mrs. Adam Orris of Weesaw. So we are going to pick up today's research trying to find Mrs. Charles Shearer and Mrs. Adam Orris, and to see if they match the list of sisters that are on. Let's go back to this real quick. So we've got Johann Gottlieb Küll, and we're going to see if any of those sisters, either Mrs. Charles Shearer or Mrs. Adam Orris, match any of these sisters of his. Karoline, we know Mary A. Küll married a Boyle, so it's not her. And so either Friedrika, Dorothy, Johanna, and Elizabetha, we know that she got married in Germany, so it's not going to be her. So let's see if we can figure out who these sisters are. All right, so we're going to start our search with Mrs. Adam Orris. So let's go ahead and put Adam Orris in here. And actually, let's go more options. Adam Orris, Michigan. They were in Weesaw, which is in Berrien County, but we're not going to go that far. We'll put spouse here, and we'll just put Küll in here for the last name. Let's see what we can find here. All right, we got George Adam Orris, birth of 1830, marriage 1847, and a spouse of Friedrika Julia Küll. So both have profiles in here, obviously. So let's go ahead and let's click on Friedrika. She's got 15 sources here. We're going to go into persons and her details. So it does have her parents' name as Frederick Küll, and mother's name is Mary Conrad. It has a sister, Mary Küll, here. We did see that Conrad name before, I think, but I don't remember what in what relation. So let's check out these sources real quick. Juliana Orris, 1860. And it looks like just her and some kids, 10 years of age. So let's see if we can find, let's see, she died in 1918. Let's see if we can. Julia Friedrika Orris, estimated birth year of 1830, which is consistent with Friedrika. We got 1829 here. So Mary Conrad was, I don't know where the Conrad came from. Orris Julia Friedrika, 88 years old. She was born in Germany. Frederick Küll and Mary Conrad. So that doesn't really agree with what we had seen before. Death date of February 1918. So let's go back. See what else we got here. Julia Küll. And I'm guessing since she died in 1918, these are death certificates of her probably husband or kids. Lydia Smith. Yep. Mother's name, Julia Küll. And this is John Orris. And, yep. Be nice if we could see what this 1880 census says. I'm looking for Orris. All right, so we got Adam Orris, Julie Orris, Charles, 9 years old, grandson. And then we have a Mary Küll, which would be technically the mother-in-law of Adam, but we do have that. $1880, let's see, 1900. This writing's got Orris here. George Orris, Lydia Orris, born in Michigan, so that must be a child. And here we go, Charles Orris, Adam Horace, Julia, and we got October 1829 here, born in Germany, and Adam Horace, born in 1830. So let's go back and look at Friedrika. And she was born in October 1829. So that is pretty promising. And this birth date of Julia married to Adam, looks like there's an A right there too, but being born October 1829 in Germany, parents born in Germany, that's pretty promising. It's interesting. So this is Julia A. Orris, but then we go to 1910 and it's Friedrika J. Orris. $80 years old, we saw. And we got Charles Orris with Hattie here, George A, Friedrika J. So it appears that their names were flip-flopped in this one. George A instead of Adam, Friedrika J instead of Julia. Birth dates seem to be matching up pretty close. This 5 of 4 kids, or 4 of 5 kids, was the same as the previous census. First marriage, 59 years. And this, Friedrika J, she came in 1846, which is consistent with what we saw before. So I'm pretty confident that this is Friedrika Küll. The rest of these are death certificates of kids and husbands, like we saw before. All right, so the only inconsistencies that we have here for this, I don't know if they're the only ones, but the biggest ones that we've looked at are obviously the name of her mother, Mary Conrad. So if we go into Mary here, she has one source, birth of Germany, she's deceased. I'm not that confident that Conrad was really her last name. In fact, let's take a look at the, here we go. Let's take a look at this death certificate. Or, well, I guess it's not even a death certificate. We could probably find the death certificate and see how accurate that really is, or see who the informant was. I don't think it's going to show on here who the informant was. It doesn't say. All right, so we're in Ancestry right now. We're going to look and see if we can't find the birth certificate or the death certificate for Friedrika Julia Orris, and she died in 1918 in Michigan. And yep. All right, here we go. Widow of George A. Orris, and then we have Charles Orris, which was one of her sons. I don't know where don't know where the Conrad came from, although I do believe that Mary Hagley, I think she had a sister that married a Conrad, so that could be the connection. But we can add this to a family search profile. I'll go ahead and do that real quick. All right, so I went ahead and added that as a source under Friedrika Julia Küll. So the other thing that I noticed as I was doing this, so if we go back in here to the death certificate, it has the date of birth as October 24th, 1829, born in Germany. We go back to Friedrika from Germany, Friedrika Küll from Germany, and we have a birth date of 24 October 1829. So, pretty confident that these two are the same person. So we can go ahead and merge these two profiles as well. And then, if we go back in here to the details, I think this Mary Küll here, she doesn't have any sources. We got two collaborates here. Let's take a look and see what this date is generated. Date and location are generated. Details. Birth 1836 in Glendora. We saw burying in Michigan, which I don't think that's accurate. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and merge this Mary Küll with the other Mary Küll, Anna Maria Küll. We can do this one really quick. This one should be relatively easy. Let's go ahead. Friedrika. We're going to go into her person. And we're going to merge. Where are we at here? Merge by ID. And we're going to continue. We're going to switch positions. So we're going to leave the Friedrika Julia Küll here. Go to the next page here. We're not going to replace the name. We've got a christening date. We've got a so we're going to have to go in and clean this up a little bit. Because we're going to replace that. We do have the death date. We have this information here. We're going to leave this alternate name. We've got spouse and kids. So these parents are going to we will merge these ones. I don't know where this 1862 came from, but we will merge those, and yep. And say birth and parent information are consistent with birth and death records contained in both profiles. And we're going to say most vital information and relationships match. We're going to add that and finish merge. All right, so now we need to go back in here and clean this up just a little bit. So 9 sources for birth, 1 source for the death. We're actually going to add that other death certificate in here, tag to death, and close that, and yeah, we'll clean these up a little bit. Immigration 1846, that was good. We got that on both the actually, let's go back in here and look at the sources, see which. We did find a couple of birth records. So this one says Buak. This one, Woblingen. And we have this birth record, which I don't think is the one that says America on it. We got Friedrika here. It is not the one, but 24 October. And we've got her born in, what is that? Steinert. And, yep, so we'll go back. And let's see if we can find actual record here. All right, pause while I go find this here. All right, so I did find it. Image 843 of 1178, entry number 50, Friedrika, and as we can see here, the America 1846, Johann Friedrich Küll, Anna Maria Hagelin, and she was born in Steineck on the 24th of October and baptized on the 25th of October in Buak. So yeah, we can determine that this is her based on the 1846, all that. So Steineck, we're going to go back to her details. We're going to pull up let's see, edit. Yeah, we're going to edit that. And she was born in Steineck. And let's see if we can find it here. Steineck. So we're going to go here and we are going to delete this piece of it and save. And then we're going to go over here to this one and we are going to edit this one. And we are going to put in this put that in, delete this piece of it, and save. And we're deleting the Germany piece of it because Germany didn't become an official country until 1871, and these places are technically within the Kingdom of Württemberg during this time, 1829. So we're going to just save that, and we have there's actually 3 sources here. We're going to tag this other one. And close. And then we're going to go to birth here. And we're going to tag sources. So we're going to tag this one. And we're going to tag this one. And I'm actually going to untag these census records. I'm going to leave the 1900 census record because that had the October 1829 on it. The rest of these just have ages, so those aren't very helpful. I'm going to get rid of that one, but I am going to add this one because that was the death certificate. No, that is not the one I want. I want this one. And I'm going to remove these because those ones would probably just say where she was born. She was born in Germany, and we have enough records that indicate where she was born. We don't need all of those. And oops, cancel, close. All right, so we got 6 sources there. Death, we've got the 2 sources for her death. We're going to, there's no point in having this one here because it's the same as this one up here, except for this says Julia and this says Julie. So we're gonna take this off. We're gonna delete this one. And we will add, actually we're going to edit this one as a birth name, and we're going to put K enter, and then I guess we can add sources. So this is going to be select source. I'm just going to select these 3 right here. All right, so the other piece of this this merge, right, is that she has this extra set of parents, Friedrika Küll and Mary Conrad, and then she's got this extra sister born in 1836. So I don't know where these dates came from for Mary Küll, Mary Conrad. There's no date here, but Friedrika Küll, I don't know where these dates came from, because if we go to Friedrika Küll, the only source here is that birth record, and there is nothing on that birth record that has a birth date or a death date or where he was born. And the same with Mary Küll, there's no 1836 birth date there. And then we have Mary Küll up here, who was born in 1833. But there's nothing to indicate that there's no evidence for these folks here. So I'm going to go ahead and merge all of them, all 3 of these, with these individuals up here: Johann Friedrich Küll, Anna Maria Hagley, and Mary A. Küll, just because they're showing as related to Friedrika Julia Küll, and we've determined that this is her, right? I'm going to go ahead and merge those right now. All right, so Friedrika Julia Küll has been successfully merged with both the American side and the German side. And then her American profile parents that came off of that death record were merged. So everything more or less for Friedrika is good to go. So now we're going to go back to the obituary, and we're going to find Mrs. Charles Shearer, and let's go ahead and search record. Actually, we're going to search family tree, see if we can find Charles Shearer, And we're going to have him in Michigan. And the spouse name of Cool. All right. Charles Shearer. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything right off the bat here. And Marie Stahl, which, no, that would be too late. Here we go. So we got Charles Martin Shearer, born in 1871. Parents were Charles Shearer and Karoline Küll. So let's actually bring up this Karoline Küll and see 43 sources. Looking pretty promising here. So we've got a birth of 31 March 1844 in Württemberg and a christening of 19 January 1845 in Sophienberlingstadt, Brandenburg, Prussia. We got some death information here, and we got so we've got Karoline Küll, Charles Shearer here, and then all these children, which I've seen, well, looks like we've got some duplicates here. Lydia, Gottlieb. Yeah, this looks pretty, yeah, it looks like this one is going to need a lot of work to get it kind of cleaned up. But let's go into the sources here. And we got Caroline Clara Küll, born to Martin Peter Küll and Augusta Caroline Thied. So let's actually let's take a look at this. So let's go 3 October 1919. Let's go to 1919, see if we can find. We got some death record here. See, and this is kind of what I was talking about, right? So we've got a father's name, Friedrika Küll, and a mother's name, Mary Ann Hagley. I am going to bet that she was attached to the wrong family. Shoot, which one was it? There it was. So we got, where's she at? Shaver, Karoline Küll, born October 3rd, or died October 3rd. She was 75 years old, born in Germany, and parents were Friedrika Küll and Mary Ann Hagley. So this does say Shaver here instead of Shearer, like we were hoping. So let's get out of there and go back here. So as we get into these death certificates, it's going to say her name, Karoline Küll. Let's see if we can find the 1900 census here. So we got C. Shearer here. Pull up the record. We got Charles, and that kind of looks like Karoline. Born March 1844, so let's go back to Karoline as a person. And 31 March 1844. So, all right, so we got March 1844, March 1844. We got 4 children living, or 4 children born and 11 living. Kind of odd. 56 years old. They've been married for 40 years, which means they got married in 1860-ish. We do know from that one census record, where to go, that this is the 1850 census record, right? She was still living at home. She was 5 years old. So in 1860, she was 15 years old. Except she was born in 1844. So in 1860, yeah, so she was about 16 years old-ish when she got married. Let's see, when did she die? She died in 1919. So let's go Caroline. Shearer. She died in 1919 in Michigan. And search. Caroline Küll Shearer. And I've got the death record here. Married to Charles Shearer. Born in March 31st, 1844. Frederick Küll, Mary Ann Hagley. And, yep. So, let's see. I can't read what the Dean, maybe? I don't know. I can't read that very well. So, I'm going to go ahead and attach this death certificate to the profile. And then we're going to go about trying to figure out these 2 German baptisms real quick. Because I'm guessing that that these are the wrong parents. So let's go back to this. These are the wrong parents. She's the only child. And based on everything, the Shearer, the connection to Johann Gottlieb Küll, and to the other sister, Friedrika, I'm going to guess that she was attached to the wrong parents. And so we are going to disconnect her from these parents and attach her to the correct parents. Okay, so I finished connecting the death certificate to Caroline Küll here, which will transfer over when we merge her with the German Caroline Küll. But we want to go up here to these birth records right here. And so as you can see, this says 1845, 1845. If we get into these birth records, let's see if we can, this one. So we have this birth record here that we have an image of. And we do see that this is January 1845 up here. We're looking for, here we go, Caroline Clara Emma, 19 December. Father's name was Küll Martin Peter, and mother's name Theod Augusta Caroline. And then she was baptized on the 19th of January. I don't see this as the same person by the dates. And we saw this in the other profiles, such as Johann Gottlieb, where the dates were different between the death record and the birth records, but just the amount of information provided that we've seen so far, right? The parents' names matching the Johann Friedrich Küll and Marianne Hagley, or Anna Maria Hagley. Those matching, the birth date on the death record actually matching the birth record for the other birth record that we found for Karoline. And I can bring that one up really quick just to, I think I showed this before. Maybe I didn't. Not that one. Let's just bring this one up. So we got Karoline Johann Friedrich Küll, and she was born the 31st of March and then baptized the 3rd of April. Just the fact that this matches almost exactly to the death record, I'm more willing to accept this birth record than the other birth record. So I'm going to go ahead and detach our Karoline, from those parents, and then I will add a Karoline to those parents so that they have a child attached to them, or a profile. So I'm going to go ahead and we'll detach her really quick from, let's see, we want to go to this one, and we're going to go back, and we are going to detach both of these. So detach Karoline Küll LZTQ PKT attached to wrong set of parents. I'm going to copy that. Control C, detach, and then we're going to go up here and detach, and same thing. All right, so we've still got her attached. Remove or replace. Oh, we can do that right here. Let's remove or replace. Remove the child from the relationship, replace the parent. I have review. Yeah, we're going to do that. And we are going to remove parents. Actually, I'm going to copy and paste this real quick. Control C. All right, remove parents. Birth record discovered that more closely matches death record, i.e. parents and date of birth. And we're going to remove. And we're going to refresh. And she no longer has parents. So now we are going to go family tree, find by ID, and yep, that's the one we want, person. And we are going to add a child, and we're going to do that based off of that birth. Actually, let's cancel out this first. Bring in the sources, and we're going to put this in a different tab, and then put that to the side. Go to Peter Cole and details. And we're going to add a child. So we got Peter Cole here, Augustine Karoline. Then, yep, we're going to add a parent, or add a child. And first name is going to be Karoline, Clara, Emma, Küll. Female, deceased, birth date was 19 December 1844. And let's see. I can't read the birth date or the birthplace, so I'm just going to leave it blank. And yeah, we're going to go next. Now we're just digging ourselves a hole, aren't we? So we found this, so we got these possible matches, right? So there's this Caroline, Clara, Emma, Küll here, and then we have Emma, Caroline, Clara, Küll here, with unknown spouses. The first one obviously showed a child, Gustav Karl Friedrich Küll. And then if we go to this one, which is a different, and we'll open that one in a tab. And this is Gustav Emil Wilhelm Küll. So it looks like two children, one born in 1869, the other one born in 1871. Possibly the same Caroline. I don't know without some further research, but I'm just going to create this person. Those can be ironed out later. So I'm going to create person. And then we're going to go in here. So we're going to Control C. And then we're going to go into these sources for Martin Peter Küll, and we are going to want to go to the record. So let's go to the record. P6, yep, that's the one we want to attach. And we will add that one. And attach. And then we want to go back here and we want to go to that other one. And we're going to attach this one. Two sources, yep. All right, cool. So we've got her re-added to the family that we just disconnected the other Caroline from. All right, so back here with our original Caroline, American Caroline, we do have those, this christening. We're going to get rid of that. Well, we're not going to get rid of it. We're going to change that here in just a second, but we are going to, I wanted to show you something that I just noticed as I was thumbing around here. So we looked at that 1900 census for Caroline Shearer, and I was confused by the number of children. So we have, this looks like a 4 and this looks like an 11, right? Well, I now realize that this was actually 11 and this is 11. So she had 11 children. And the way that I figured that out was if we go back to the 1910 census, and we pull that one up, it actually said that she had, so we got Charles Shearer, Caroline Shearer, and a daughter, Emma. And it says that she had 11 children, and 10 of whom were living in 1910. So one of them died within the previous decade, but that clued me in on the fact that they had 11 children together. So just to re-emphasize her details here, so she had 11 children, but there are 15 here. So as we mentioned, these Lydias are probably the same, these Melindas are probably the same, and I don't know the others off the top of my head. I'm sure we can probably figure it out. But anyway, so that requires some work, but we are going to go ahead and merge this Caroline with this Caroline. Based on the birth dates are the same, based on the parents on the death record showing as Frederick Küll and Anna Maria Hagley. So we're going to go ahead and merge this Caroline with that Caroline. So let's, we're going to take this one and we're going to go to merge by ID and V. And we're going to leave this Caroline on this side. The christening dates don't match, but that's because this one was wrong. This is off of the incorrect one. So this will go away. This one will become correct. We do have these new death dates and burials. Family, the spouse and her kids on this side, parents on this side, and then all this stuff will merge. So I'm going to go ahead and yes to continue. And we are going to replace this one. And we're going to leave that. We'll go back into the birth record and see if we can't. We're going to change this once we get in there. We'll change this and we'll see if we can't put a more detailed birthplace. It's probably going to be Steineck again. But let's see. Caroline Küll. We'll change this alternate name, birth name, to the other one. So we'll get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that. And yeah, so we'll go back in and change a few things once we get this merged. So go ahead and continue. And we'll add that and finish merge. And like I said, we're going to get rid of, or we're going to change this to that. Get rid of that. Save. And then we'll go into that birth record and see. No. Go to this one. The original. Caroline Johann Friedrich Küll. Looks like Steineck again, 31 March. And this B is for book. So we'll get out of that, put Steineck back in here. And the details. And edit. Steineck, Wobblegaden, and we're going to delete the Germany piece of this and save. Be sure you want to continue without explaining your changes. Yes. All right, and then we're going to get rid of this one. Delete alternate name. Duplicate. And we're going to edit this one, and we're just going to put the and save. Birth name, and we got Karoline Küll here, and we're going to use based on the death certificate. And we've got Charles Shearer, Karoline Küll, and we've got, so now we've got Friedrika, Mary, and Karoline all matching. So I think based on that, we can merge Johann Gottlieb Küll and Gottlieb J. Küll, and that was based off of the death records, and the death record sort of matching having the matching parents, and also the obituary matching the sisters. And so I think there's enough to conclude that those two people are the same people, even though the dates on the birth record and the death record don't quite match. But given the fact that it was a son-in-law that gave the information, that's probably why it was inaccurate. Details, and we're going to merge by ID and continue. And we got this Johann Gottlieb Küll, Gottlieb J. Küll. And we're going to move these over. We're going to edit the Germany off of those. And yep. We are going to replace. We got that added. We got this death date. We got residences, families, parents, and sources. Continue. And we're going to put that in there and finish merge. And we are going to go into this and edit. Get rid of that. Save. And we're going to get into here. Edit. Delete. Save. All right, so we have successfully done Friedrika, Marianne, and John Gottlieb. And we're going to change this birth name to Johann Gottlieb and K. Oops, this one, and save. And we can actually add those sources in. Sources, select sources, and save. Close. Cancel. I'll probably continue to do that. There is a one of the children that I noticed of Johann or John Küll that requires a little bit of work, and I'll probably go into that in a future video. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to do for the next video yet. We may do some more of these merges, but yeah, we'll see you next time.